missed, like, they said you can miss this many days and your parents won't go to jail. And that's exactly how many days I missed because I was worried about getting bullied. I was worried about, it was just worried about getting beat up. And I hated that so much. And it affected so much, even in my early adult life. I wasn't able to really be, I was very introverted. I was afraid to be out in social settings. So I think it's really important that that's a topic that we tackle and raise money for.
Hmm. Wonderful. Well, it's great that you're bringing attention to that. And you, as a young person here on Millennials 420, this is what this show is really geared towards the young people to have other young people like yourself to educate them, to show them your journey and show them how to face these challenges that probably will arise or has arise in their lives and how to make a difference. And sometimes we just have to stand up for ourselves.
And
And this is
others.
and others. It's really important to do that. And your job as Miss Gay America is to make sure that the young and some of the older people are educated on what you've been through as a young person. So we're not having this older person, younger person conversation in the year differences, because in the long run, we're all one people and we're all
Correct.
human beings. So we all have a lot of the same issues, and a lot of these issues can be resolved just by us talking.
Right.
So the young can learn a lot from the older ones, and the older ones can learn a lot from sharing their knowledge of what they've been through to the younger kids today.
Right.
Now, let's talk about the most exciting part of the pageant for you.
When it was over.
Oh, that's very good. That's very good. That's how I feel about a lot of the shows. But it's very good. So let's talk a little bit about who did you think your competition was in Miss Gay America? Did you really feel like everybody had a fair shot at it, or did you pick out a few that you knew would be your competition?
I'm going to give the Miss Gay America answer first, and then I'm going to give my answer. Miss Gay America answer is you're only competing against yourself. You have the scores that you get, it's not comparative. So, really, your biggest competition is yourself. Now, being a human, you can't help but look around and see who else around you is great at what they do or exceptional at what they do. Of course, I was watching for Arya B. Cassadine. She's a huge threat. She's got an amazing voice. She's beautiful, models gown well, she talks well. So I really had my eye on her. Last year, I was first runner up and she was second runner up. So we were right there together. Another person that came was Ada Vox, who's been on TV, who has a great voice. But the top 10 really surprised me. There was a lot of new people in the top 10. And I feel like
Mhm.
I'm fortunate that I won because I feel like the girls are getting younger and the talents are getting better and everything is pushing forward and progressing as it should. And I almost feel like if I went a few more years longer, I would have been pushed to the side and moved away and not ever capture my dream.
Mhm. Now, now this year, Miss Gay America has introduced a new trans pageant. Am I right?
It's for trans and cisgender women, yes.
Okay. So, how do you feel about that? Because the pageant has a legacy of
Right,
female impersonators.
right. I
So
think it's,
now that
go ahead.
just 1 minute. Now that the trans community has been introduced, how do you feel about that?
I think it's amazing. Um, I think it's great that they saved Miss Gay America for female impersonators, but they gave their own division, which is Miss Gay America Femme, for trans and cisgender women. There's just certain rules that apply in Miss Gay America, like you have to wear your tights and your pads at all times, things like that that may not apply to trans women or to cisgender women. And there's a full transformation happening in Miss Gay America. But what I like is that they were able to create Miss Gay America Femme, and the trans and cisgender women are going to get the same legacy and the same honor as being Miss Gay America, but they're going to get to write their own rules and they're going to get to make their own legacy and they're going to get to shine just as bright. And I'm very excited that I get to be the reigning Miss Gay America when we have the first Miss Gay America film pageant. So I'm really looking forward to it.
That's wonderful. I take I've said this for many years. I met Norma Christie maybe 35, 40 years ago. She'll never remember me because I'm from Orlando, but I lived in Fort Lauderdale before I moved to Canada. Now, I take my wig off to her for this legacy that she has created to something phenomenal. I got to meet Naomi Sims and a lot of the other ones, Miss Roxanne Russell, all of these women and entertainers that have been on the Miss Gay America stage. Norma Christie has created something that is phenomenal and that has been very impactful in our community. And it's she has made sure that the pageant over the years with all of the winners have been very visible. And this is something that's very important for our community is to be very, very visible to make sure that our voices are heard loud and clear and that we are fighting for our rights just like everybody else. Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit. You don't have to tell me who, but let's go and talk a little bit about the election coming up in November. And as Miss Gay America, and with all the rules around Miss Gay America and you know the system itself, and maybe it's a little bit more conservative than we would say Miss Continental is, or Miss Classic, or Miss Black America, or any of the other ones that are a little bit more geared towards the trans women. I'm trying not to mention religion here, but I'm trying to, I understand Miss Gay America is really set up like Miss America in a sense. So I know how generally the Miss America contestants would feel being Christians and about the voting process. Now, what do you think with Donald Trump and Biden? I'm not going to say who would you choose? I'm going to say, what do you think? Do you think Biden is too old to be the president?
First of all, we have a thing that we're heading this year. Barbara Seville actually brought it to the executive NGA board. We're going to be doing a whole election rollout. Now, we're not going to be telling people who to vote for. We're not going to be talking about Democrat or Republican. It's mainly just get out there, register yourself to vote, and vote. That's the word that we're trying to get out as Miss Gay America. Now, asking between Biden and Trump, I think we need a wash. I think we need to get rid of both of them and just start over with new candidates, and let's get some fresh ideas. Let's get some fresh minds in there, because somebody who's 80 years old, how many different generations have they lived through? And what generation is stuck in their mind of how they should govern? I think it's time for us to have a younger government that reflects more of the ideals and values that is current for America now.
Mhm. Wonderful. Now, let's talk about a little bit about RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, RuPaul's Drag Race has made a huge impact in the world of drag. But from what we're seeing and what we're hearing is that a lot of the local queens and the local entertainers are having a real issue of RuPaul's Drag Race taking over the entire entertainment industry of drag, what we know, uh, and now a lot of the girls are, a lot of the entertainers are working now, but they're bringing in the RuPaul Drag Race queens to work with these astronomical fees that local queens have never seen.
Right.
And and if they do see it, they see it around Pride or some really huge corporate special event, which is maybe once or twice every 10 years.
Right.
So, what do you think about RuPaul's Drag Race and that?
I think it's great. I mean, if you think about drag before RuPaul's Drag Race, it was mainly the LGBTQ community that came to the shows. Now that we've become part of pop culture through RuPaul's Drag Race, you have bachelorette parties, you have birthday parties. And although we're not making the same money, maybe as a RuPaul girl coming in, we're making more, I feel like, in tips now, because people are recognizing drag as a popular part of pop culture, and they're starting to come to the local shows and they're starting to tip the girls. And as far as the RuPaul's Drag Race girls getting a higher fee, I kind of look at it like this. They were on TV, they became popular, It's no different than a movie star. Let's say Sandra Bullock has been in movies. If I was going to bring a local actor to my venue, or I was going to bring Sandra Bullock, am I going to pay them the same? No, I'm not. One is going to bring value that's going to bring a lot more people to watch the show than somebody who's local. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being local, but we've all seen when they bring RuPaul girls to town how busy the bars get. Do I think that's a
Mhm.
shame? Yes, because is great local talent that's just as good as the RuPaul girls, and y'all should be coming out and supporting that as well if you like drag at all. However, we are fortunate enough that it is part of pop culture, and these people are coming out when RuPaul girls come, and that's why they get paid more. It's a business.
Mhm. I understand that. Wonderful. Now, let's talk a little bit about your family. Now, did your family support you going to Miss Gay America?
My mom actually went all 6 times that I competed for Miss Gay America. She went to Memphis, to Nashville, to New Orleans, to St. Louis, and of course Little Rock. She's been to every single pageant that I've done nationally. My dad was there, my sister was there, I had some aunts there. So I've always had really strong family support. They were all just at my brunch 2 days ago on Sunday. So they really support me. They come out to the shows, they support the pageant. When I first got into drag, my mom was a little worried that I was trying to be a woman. And I had to really explain to her that my goal was never to be trans, which there's nothing wrong with trans. That's just not for me. I was an actor before this. So it was really like Dessie is a role that I'm playing. And this is what I have to put on in order to play this character. And as soon as I'm done at the show or the gig, wherever I'm at, all of this comes right back off and I go right back to Ron because my job is over. So I see it as more of a acting job than I do as like trying to be a woman. And so
Mhm.
she really understood that and realized that what my mindset was, and it changed her mindset to want to be a part of as well. Not that she would have had any problem with me being trans because she's very supportive and loving for anything that I do, but I just think she needed to understand where the line was that I was trying to accomplish.
Wonderful. Now, let's talk a little bit about the past Miss Gay Americas. How far do you think the pageant has come? Is the pageant, do you think it's where it needs to be right now? Or does there need to be some changes with Miss Gay America right now? Or is it okay where it is right now?
I think Michael and Rob have done, that's the owners of Miss Gay America, Mad Angel Entertainment. I think they've done a fabulous job at holding on to the legacy of Miss Gay America, but still reaching a little bit to progress to where things are happening today. Like, for example, having a film division or allowing trans men who have had full top surgery to come compete if they want to do drag at Miss Gay America, for allowing tattoos to be visible if they're flattering to the gown you're wearing and not have. So there's things that they're progressing towards that are great, but that they're still holding on to the core values that Miss Gay America was.
Mhm. Wonderful. Now, let's just talk a little bit about love. And you, as you know, tomorrow is Valentine's
It
Day.
is.
Now, is there somebody special in Miss Gay America's life at this moment?
I've been married to my husband. Well, we've been together for 12 years. We've been married for, I think, 9. So yeah, when I started performing, I had only been performing for 6 months whenever we got together. So this entire journey he's been on with me, and he makes all of my clothes, all of my costumes that I wear, all the hats. He makes all of that stuff. So I left my full-time job. I was a professor in radiology science and a real estate agent when I won Miss Texas in 2014 because I couldn't keep up with both. And then we were fortunate enough for him to leave his corporate job in 2016. And ever since then, female impersonation drag is what we do to support ourselves. And we've made a living off of it. So
Wonderful. Now, I just want to ask you. Now, you know, most of the older queens from years ago, and many of them. I mean, I was lucky. I'm self-taught drag. I taught myself everything that I have ever done. I have never had any queen to ever help me. Do you have a drag mother?
I have a drag mom. Her name is Lana Blake. She's here, lives locally here in Houston. The way that came about, I was competing for my first pageant. It was a bar pageant, and I had only been in drag for a couple of months. And I walked into the dressing room, and I had on like pink blush and CoverGirl that didn't cover boy and blue eyeshadow. My sister, who used to be on the dance team in high school, she painted my face. I had on these little bitty lashes, so no padding. And so I walked in this dressing room and there was like four other contestants. And in the dressing room, there was this bathroom off to the side. It was like a private bathroom where like the host would get ready. And Lana came over to me, and I didn't know her, but she came to me and said, "Hey, can I see you in this restroom over here?" I said, "Sure." So I walked into the restroom, and she closed the door behind me, and she said, "Do you mind if I help you?" I said, "Not at all." She said, "Okay, don't be mad." And she took a makeup wipe and she wiped my whole face off and repainted me for the pageant. And ended up winning the pageant. So we
Oh,
became really
wow.
close that way. She had never had any drag kids. She had been in drag for like 25, 30 years. So we were driving to Galveston one time, and I was getting ready to another pageant, and there was a girl with the name Destiny Love, and my name was Dessie Love. So I wanted a little bit of separation so there wouldn't be confusion, whatever. So I asked her if I could take her name, for the pageant, and from here on out, she wouldn't have any responsibility for me because I knew she never really wanted drag children. She didn't want to have to keep up with that. So that's kind of how it all came about.
Well, wigs off to drag mothers, wigs off
Yes.
to drag mothers. And I like I said for many, many years back in Florida and Fort Lauderdale in the Miss Florida pageant, I looked up to so many of the wonderful women that used to perform, Miss Tiffany Ariagas and Dana Manchester and Nikki Adams, all of those girls, they were great influences on my life. And I'm glad that I got to meet them. So whether they were influential or drag mothers, it's wigs off to people that really made a difference in our lives and just made us look better or feel better or
Right.
offered some advice. Now, in closing, Miss Gay America, because you were fantastic, fantastic, I want to just say now that you are traveling the world,
Mhm.
now, do you ever travel as Miss Gay America? Do you travel through the airport anytime in full Desi drag? Let's just say that.
I have not yet. I'm hoping that I don't have to have that experience. I'm hoping that my flights are early enough and I don't have delays, that I don't have to. I've heard nightmares of girls having to paint on the plane. That's not something that I'm looking forward to. So I'm hoping everything works out for my year and that I don't have to travel in drag.
Wonderful. I just want to say it was a pleasure meeting you, Desi Love Blake slash Ron. It was really interesting, your point of views today. And I just want to say congratulations. And I wish you the best of luck. How many prelims you got this year?
My goal was to have 50 contestants. The first time I competed for Miss Gay America, there was 52. Since then, we haven't been back to 50. So we had 44 this year. So that means I needed three more prelims to get to 50. But we all know some
Mhm.
things happen and all girls don't show up. So my goal is to have 27 or 28 prelims. So we have 52, 54 contestants qualified.
Wonderful. And on that note, I just want to say to our audience out there, today on the show, Millennials 420, we had Miss Gay America 2024, Dessie Love Blake. She gave us her point of view on many issues that are facing our community today. And we want to say thank her for having this big voice. And we want to say that we know that her upcoming prelims, spreading the word about Miss Gay America and the fabulous work that they do for our community and many other communities. And we take our wig off to her. And and I just want to say thank you very much for being on the show today. And to our audience out there, check out Miss Gay America sometimes online. And how can we find you, Bessie?
All of my social media, Facebook, Instagram, all of them are at Dessie, Dessie, Love, and then Blake, Dessie Love Blake. And you can even, it's the same for Cash App and Venmo if you want to send me money.
Oh, that's always a good thing. And on that note, thank you everybody for joining us here on Millennials 420 with Miss Gay America, Miss Dessie Love Blake. Thank you, Dessie. Good
Thank
night.
you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Good night.